because his last couple of interviews,
Yes.
have been mature, powerful, well-informed.
Yes.
He's talking to activists and advocates, and he's asking for veterans to come talk to him. He is educating himself. It's almost like he has a whole second career going right now, which is this issue. He has brought great national attention to this issue. So
that's Skip Bayless talking about Colin Kaepernick and talking about how he's brought great national attention to the issue of white police officers killing unarmed black men. You know, I got to say this over and over and over again. It's not just white police officers who are killing black men. It's police officers. There was an Asian guy who killed a black guy in the hallway in New York. He got off. I think Elgin Bell was killed by black police officers and white police officers. He got off. Some of the police officers are Hispanic. The police officer who killed Eric Garner, they weren't white. Some of them were white, but some of them I think were either Hispanic or mixed with something. But they weren't all white police officers. It's police officers. You know, people keep talking about it's white cops. It's like, no, listen, Colin Kaepernick never said white cops. He said police. I keep saying this over and over and over. He never said white cops. He said police. Everybody thinks if you talk about police, you're talking about white people. But I'm going to tell you what, I got my ass kicked by a black cop for no reason. And a white cop was there, and a white cop never laid a hand on me. And I was talking to the white cop. And the black cop came up, knocked me right in the head about 8 to 10 times, bloodied my whole skull. Then he put me in handcuffs, broke my finger, and punched me in the stomach. And he still couldn't take me down. This was back in '98 in Pittsburgh. He still couldn't take me down. I was looking at him. I was all bloodied up, head bloody, everything, finger broken, in handcuffs. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just looking at this black bastard. Like, you know as well as I know that if I didn't have these handcuffs on and you didn't have that gun, that it'd be a whole different story. And I was talking to him the whole time, but I wasn't talking stuff to him. I was like, oh, this is how you do, this is how you operate. Mind you, I'm all bloodied up. When they showed my car, because I was near my car, when I took pictures of my car, when my girl at the time saw it, she just started screaming because I was going to see her. I just got lost, and where I was in Pittsburgh, and they pulled me over for nothing, basically trying to say that because I was backing up, and they were like, well, you're driving funny. I'm like, I was just backing up. Like, what are you talking about? And then I got out the car to use the payphone, and they was like, you're under arrest when I crossed the street. And I was like, for what? You put your hands on it. And I was like, what you guys arrested me for? They were just being assholes. And they wanted to arrest a black man. And they wanted to beat a black man up. And that's exactly what they did. And they got away with it. It was a black cop who beat me up. Put me in the hospital. When I went into the hospital, they handcuffed me to the bed. When I woke up in handcuffs. And they had to operate on my finger, on my hand. So of course I had anesthesia, but they didn't even take me right to the jail. They took me to the hospital. Like, I got my ass beat for nothing by a black cop. So let's quit. And even my brothers got beat up. My younger brother used to get beat up by black cops all the time. So let's quit acting like it's white police out here when a black police officer will beat the hell out of you and they'll kill you. They'll kill you, but black police are notorious for beating up black men. They're not notorious for killing you. Like, they don't really, because I'm going to tell you something about black police officers. They have family in the hood. I don't care where those black cops are from. They got family that's in the hood, and they know the law of the jungle. We're going to come see about you. You do that to us, you act up like that to us, somebody knows your family. Somebody knows who you are. It's a good chance that you're a black police officer in the hood that you grew up in. And this is why they're notorious for beating your ass and not killing you. White cops do not know us. They can't identify with us. They don't know who we are. They don't know who grew up with us. They don't know who our family is. So it's easy for them to kill a black person because they cannot identify with you. This is why you have so many white officers just shooting people. I mean, what they did to that dude in Baton Rouge, it was heartless. It was the most heartless killing I have ever seen in my life, and it was on purpose. It had one purpose to it. I'm going to kill this man, and that's it. There was no argument. The man never said nothing. They put the gun to his chest and squeezed the trigger several times, and he said nothing. So listen, there's a big differential between black officers kicking your ass and white officers who don't know you just killing you. It's easy to kill somebody you don't know because you have no idea who their family is. You have no mental resistance when it comes to them. They're just a foe in your eyes. And of course, in the cop's eyes, is a paycheck. It's a whole different story. I watched there was this young man who was riding a bike in California. And the police officers wanted to give him a ticket. They followed him all the way home, and his family was like, why are y'all trying to give a minor a ticket for riding a bike? His house was surrounded with cops. And the cop was like, no matter what you say, we want that man to come out here. They wanted him to get handcuffed and to give him a ticket. They had to handcuff him, which is not even the law. So the black people started quoting the law to the officer, and he said, I don't care what you say, we're still getting him. See, they're operating outside of the law. These officers they're not law-abiding officers. They're just hiding behind the badge. If you tell them what the law is and they tell you they don't care, well, they're no better than anybody else. As a matter of fact, they're worse because now they're criminals. They have criminal intent. What they're doing is against the law, which makes you a criminal. They turn from being the people who are supposed to uphold the law to the people who are breaking the law. Right there in 1 second, as soon as you say you don't care, boom, you are breaking the law. You're outside of the confines of the law in the jurisdiction that you're supposed to protect. And that's just the plain truth. Any officer to tell you he doesn't care about the law, you are an enemy to the public. Immediately. And the reason why they don't care because they're only interested in corporate interest. That's it. They're not interested in the people, especially when they can't identify with the people. Like I was at an event a couple weeks ago, and I saw a white officer, and and he was trying to joke around, and it was a black event outside, and he was trying to joke around with the guys. And when I looked at him, it was almost like, why are you here? Why are you here? Like, we know who you are. We know you're a police officer, but why are you trying to joke around and kid around with us when you know your counterparts here in the city we live in are killing us? And don't act like you're not. Don't act like your counterparts, your brothers aren't the Ku Klux Klan, because they let us know that they had on hoods riding down the street. They had hoods on during Martin Luther King Day, riding down the street on a float, pointing at us, calling us niggas. Here in the city I live in, broad daylight in front of everybody during the Martin Luther King parade. Don't act like you don't know that, that they, as soon as Obama was the primary, they killed somebody at a party, said he was, skidding his tires out in the parking lot. I was at that party. And as soon as I saw Obama win the primary, I turned around and looked at a young lady I was talking to. I said, listen, you need to go home. There's going to be trouble tonight. And I left that party. The party was stacked with black people. We all had on suits. It was a professional deal. Stacked downtown. But I knew that was one too many black people there. And as soon as Obama won the primary, I was like, somebody's going to die tonight. The next day on the news, somebody was dead at that party. I knew it was going to happen. No, so listen, there's just a big disconnect between white officers who have, look, we got an officer around here, they call him Batman. This dude is notorious for arresting and harassing black people. just straight up harassing you in the hood. It got so bad. I'm not even gonna talk about him, but he's here. I don't know if he's still on the force, but he's here. They call him Batman. Nonetheless, so there's a big differential between a black officer who will just beat you up, and I mean, the black officers do some heinous stuff, but they're not notorious for killing you. They're notorious for wrecking your life. They're notorious for, going behind your back and trying to screw your woman. They do that. Even some of the black judges, like, they'll do that. If you walk in, and it's the truth, if you walk in there with a fine woman and they see you, listen, I'm just telling you the corruption. It's happened to me. Some black people do some corrupt stuff to you when they're in a position of power, but most likely they're not going to try to kill you. They're just not. The white people, they'll just kill you. That's your boy Tone 202. Peace.